Hello and welcome to Rise and Shine with Alissa. I am your hostess, the consultress, here bringing you innovative and awesome conversations from the front lines of entrepreneurship and innovation in the age of disruption, right? Nothing is going back to normal and everything is new and up for review. So why not use that as an opportunity to grow? That's what I have done and what all of the amazing people in my network that I invite on this show get to bring to you. So without further ado, I'm bringing an OG on with me today. We met once upon an airline trip. I think I was headed back from Arizona to New York at the
hmm
time, and this gal impressed the crap out of me. And so we've been friends for like, I don't know, over a decade. Taylor
Mm.
Stevens, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and yeah, excited still after all this time of knowing each other. I just looked at my phone to see when that trip was that I took with my sister that I met you on, and that was in 2013.
Wow. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like
so
a
let me
lifetime
go
ago.
way back in the time machine, but like you've been up to some amazing things ever since. We started collaborating way back when, putting together marketing materials and doing joint venture projects. And the same is
hmm
true today. So I'm super jazzed to hear about your journey in entrepreneurship. And also, you met me when my kids were super duper little, and now
Yeah.
you have a little one of your own.
Yes, I know life like comes full circle. It's so wild. But yeah, you've been here with me every step of the way and every iteration of my entrepreneurship. So for that, I am grateful and I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, so good, so good. I'm like, I hear Sweet Caroline going on now in my head. Tell me a little bit about your business now, but also like how you're managing now that you are not only partner, you are also mother, and you are also entrepreneur. How are you finding
Yes.
that dynamic right about now?
Oh my gosh, that dynamic is like the wildest roller coaster I've ever been on, but it's also been like the most fun. It is a lot of juggling, trying to strike some sort of balance and stay grounded because it's a lot, it's a lot of energy all around. So it's picking and choosing how that energy is allocated, how that time is spent. Um, yeah, and I'm still parsing it out and like learning every day and figuring it out. Um, yeah, it's a challenge, a rewarding challenge to build a business. It's a rewarding and beautiful journey raising a baby. I feel like doing at the same time. Some people have thought that we're pretty insane, but we're really, my partner and I, Cobain and I, are just really in it together, and that definitely, serves serves our goal.
Yeah, you know what? And being in it together, like having someone who's your partner in life and partner in business, like it adds that extra level of accountability, but also determination.
Mhm.
When I was, when I had first met my husband, we were, we got married and had kids, and I started a more scalable business at that time. So like I don't know how to do
Mhm.
anything not with firing on all cylinders. So becoming a wife, mother, and then entrepreneur to the next level, it's kind of like when something is changing in your life, why not look at all the other things that need to change along with it, right? So
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
prioritization piece, I
Yeah.
know I've talked about here with a few other guests, you know, being very specific about your time is a world of difference when you're entrepreneur, partner, and mother than when you
Yes.
are single career woman, right?
Mhm.
So, can you speak to
Mhm.
that dynamic? Because, like, I did meet you back when you were a single career woman.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I was like a baby career woman. Um, yeah, you met me back when I was, freelancing and just really in the phase of like going against the norm, and I'm not gonna conform to, a corporate job and that whole mindset. Yeah, and I really wanted to pursue the creativity side of me as well, just being a dancer and actor and marketing strategist, just it's all culminated to this point of really putting my skill sets and talents into one, and us marrying our respective skill sets and talents into our business. Um, the the time and the time management part of it that you were just speaking about has been interesting, because in each phase of our lives, especially when we're adding like motherhood to it now, at least for me, and like entrepreneurship, full swing, like I feel there's an up leveling that happens where like I have no choice but to use the time that I have. I mean, I guess I do have a choice, but like for me, I feel like
Right.
I need to be so intentional with the time that I do have, that it's been easier for me to fire on all those cylinders, like you were speaking about, like firing on all those cylinders when I have the time. And I feel like I'm more action oriented now, being a mother. Of course, I had a transition period of first becoming a mother, but now that I'm like coming back to myself and like finding a new version of me, I'm able to really like just go for it in the time that I have, instead of like wasting time thinking about it or putting it off. Like there's no excuses for me now.
Yeah, and I love what you said about coming back to yourself. So at
Mhm.
every point, I feel like, especially as a woman, changing from, maybe career slash W-2 into being an entrepreneur, it's an identity shift. And also going from, single woman to partner in an intimate relationship, and also adding that layer of business. Like these are all identity layering shifts that
Mhm.
require us to focus on what's important and to renegotiate, like to really set ourselves up for understanding where are my best bang for my buck in terms of investing my time. And now that
Mhm.
I have, more than just me to be responsible for, how can I allocate that time and focus to bring about the best life? Because now we're not only envisioning a life of, what we want for ourselves, we're building an entire little community here. And
Mhm.
beyond that family community, that family unit, our business is also kind of one ripple out, doing that for the people that we serve and for the communities that we attend. So I love what you said about calling me back to myself, because it reminds me that during every transition, we're always looking at the pieces, turning things over, and what works, what doesn't, what needs to shed, what do I keep. And sometimes in the process of making those decisions, we get lost. I mean,
Mhm.
I go through this probably once a quarter where I'm
Yeah.
like, hold on a second, stop the press. Let's take a snapshot. Let's look and review. What are the big things that I'm up to? How does that serve
Mhm.
where I want to go? Is that still where I want to go? And then
Yeah.
who do I need to become so that that is my reality, right? It's a constant evolution of self. So,
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about. I know your company name is Self Love Media, and I when I first looked at it, I said, "What are those letters? What does that mean?" So you have it there under your name, selflovemedia.com. But tell me a little bit about this business endeavor that you're partnering with.
Yeah, yeah. So, oh, 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 got
Earbud on the loose.
it. Got it. Oh, yeah. Also to totally affirm what you're saying, assessing and reevaluating constantly. Yeah, totally, totally doing that over here. Um, but yeah, with our business, gosh, we've been this thing has been incubating for the last few years. And, we started it actually during the pandemic, when it first hit. But Self Love Media has really grown out of our values. So, mental health and self love and self care. But it's a production company, and it's a production company for creative spirits who want to tell their authentic story. We have a marketing leg as well as a production leg that very much walk together. So marketing of a production and producing marketing.
I love that. Yeah, that totally
Yeah.
makes sense. Two legs that walk together. Thank you. That just, woo, that nails it. I love telling, supporting creative spirits to tell their authentic story sounds like self love to me, and it also sounds like it's a little bit of a challenge of that existing paradigm of, look at me, I'm great, vanity versus here's what I'm up to because I love it and this is me. It feels very
Yeah.
different. So, how did you come to that concept?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're creatives ourselves. Cobain has a background in filmmaking and, he directs and edits and has a PR background. And I've been on the opposite end of the camera for a while. So, being in front of it, being an actress and just learning the industry and now doing more producing and marketing of productions. That's been like a journey of itself. Um, and really exciting. So we put our creative talents and know-hows together because we want to produce our own, but also be a change in the industry. And so we serve other creatives or people that have that creativity within them so they can tell their story authentically and vulnerably and truthfully. And we really focus on, underrepresented stories and people and, businesses and people from all walks of life. That's really, our passion and to just do things differently in this entertainment industry.
Yeah, innovation is key, especially when you drop into something existing and you see ways that it can be done better and differently. Taking charge of that and creating value, I think, is the essence of what being an entrepreneur is all about. Is creating that innovation, seeing a gap in value delivery, and figuring out how to solve for it. So if you feel comfortable, can you share
Yeah.
with us some gaps that you are looking to solve? Because you said share your story vulnerably, and you said things like, being creative but also being able to be, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but confident behind what you're saying about yourself. So
Mhm.
can you speak to that gap that you're solving and like that innovation you're seeing as the need where the industry is going that you're going to solve for?
Yeah. Um, so I mean, it's definitely very layered. Um, you know, there's the whole underrepresented story side of it. We are a woman and Black owned business. So there's themes and, societal things and concepts that are really important to us and important for us to be a part of helping people get their story out there. Um, there's definitely, some gaps in, you know, pay within the industry, how people are treated, their value. Um, so we're trying to find ways to just function differently in an industry that is more of like a disruptor, um, and eventually build it up so it's a big, large scale production company that doesn't rely on other known big production companies per se, but to, like you were kind of mentioning earlier, build this creative community of like collaborators and partners, and essentially building this village where everyone plays an important role, whether it's like in front of the camera or behind it or on the marketing side of things. Um, we just really have this big vision for a new way of working that is very innovative and heart centered. Um, I think I think that answers your question. We really like how Ryan Reynolds is doing it with his production company and really affords people opportunities that maybe wouldn't get opportunities at that scale. Um, and completely, I don't know why I'm blanking on his production company name, but
That's okay.
um,
Google Ryan Reynolds and production
yeah,
company. They'll find it.
yeah. Uh, what he does is an inspiration for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. And I feel like this kind of uncovers a bit of pain for anyone looking to innovate a story, right? So we all come from places where we have not had the ideal situation, whether that's growing up privileged but having, you know, your identity locked in, or growing up with not much and having to scrap your way. We all have a story that helps us to make sense of the world. But as we grow as humans and as we evolve that identity piece that we're talking about, being able to see the world as evolving too, and that we have a
Mhm.
hand in that evolution. um, I think that's
Yes.
kind of every person on the planet's opportunity and responsibility,
Mhm.
is from your own perspective and the pains that you've experienced. Like, that is where our value gets to come from, because
Uh-huh.
nobody, you know,
Yeah.
walks in day one as executive CEO of a company and says, "Oh, yep, I was born here. I'm going to be here forever and I'm going to die this way." Like, that's just not so. But in our static
No.
minds, we kind of conceptualize that things always are the way that they are, or they're going to continue to be the way they've always been. And that's just not so. The
Mm-mm.
innovators and the creators are the ones that make evolution possible.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I want to just honor the fact that, you know, everyone comes in our own personal stories. We all have a piece of us that's underrepresented. So we share in this collective space of innovating what
Mhm.
needs to be brought to the forefront, what we have to share that maybe we've been hiding inside of ourselves, or not had the right stage to be able to say what we need to say, you know. And that's kind of what Rise and Shine's all about, is like,
Mm.
I wanted a place for people to have authentic conversations,
Yeah.
because we have this myth and this idea that we know who people are because of their website, or we know who
Mhm.
people are because of what their social media feed looks like.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
really true, but we as a user of this stuff, you know, tend to believe that it is. So, um, Mike, over to
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That evolution piece that you were talking about too. Like a big so people have seen the facade of like your highlights and your highlighted life on social media. Like we're very much moving away from that. And people are like pulling back the curtain that is their lives. And that is what, people are connecting with. They're connecting with your vulnerability. And a lot of brands and businesses are moving away from like brand selling to like an actual person that you're connecting with that is associated with the brand. A lot of spokespeople for the brand or the owner themselves will be the one sharing their lives, and like people are following people more so than businesses too. So
Hmm.
it's a really interesting and exciting time, and like a passion of ours is definitely encouraging people to feel empowered to tell their story, whether it's about their business or themselves, personal or professional. But in these days, it's very much like intertwined.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting shift than the buttoned up like CEO. Like, yeah, we're moving away from that.
Yeah. The stale, stodgy, you know, what did somebody called it, the pale and stale environment, or the assumption of the buttoned up quintessential professional, and then you get to loosen it up and break free when you're done being that person. Like, the lines between who we are as business owners or professionals and who we show up in the world is definitely going away. The line is being
Yeah.
blurred hardcore right now, because,
Hmm.
you know, in the age of disruption, like I continue to talk about, you know, who we are and how we live our lives translates directly into the value that we're meant to create for this world. You know, I talk
Hmm.
about the simple
Yeah.
framework and how, you know, your strategies, your ideal situations, and all of your marketing, it's all great to have those pieces of the mechanics of your business, but who you
Yeah.
show up as, who you partner with, how you demonstrate your personal leadership, and who you empower by virtue of what you
Mhm.
do is just as, or maybe even more important than the doing piece. It's who you are
Totally.
and what you're representing for yourself and your future. That
Hmm.
is where the value lives, especially now that we've got AI everywhere, right? That human
Hmm.
connection,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
nothing can replicate that. My son
Mm-mm.
just, oh God, he downloaded an app that's like chat with your favorite, you know, character from whatever show you watch. And there's like this AI bot that you can like pretend to have conversations with your favorite like cartoon character. I'm like, I'm very interested. I want to know if they have Snoopy on there. Um,
Yeah, that's kind of fun. I think I'd chat with
right.
like Sailor Moon or something.
Yeah, like the cartoons and then maybe it's okay. Um, exactly. And so, with the age of artificial intelligence, or we should call it language learning models, right? That's really what it
Hmm.
is.
Yeah,
The mechanics stuff is kind of being generated real time, very quickly, very and done well. So the being part of business is the where the most value can be harvested, because again, people do business with people they know, like, and
yeah.
trust.
Hmm.
So, you know,
Always.
if you don't
Yeah,
have that connection to yourself, you're also missing your value in your business.
yeah. Yeah, because you're also, I mean, at this point, you can't entirely even rely on AI for certain things because there still needs a human element. A human touch is still necessary. And yeah, AI is, this is a whole conversation with what's going on within the entertainment industry as well. I mean, it's disrupting all industries, but I think it's really important to be on like the forefront and keep learning and keep putting your humanness in it while using it. Yeah, it's definitely something to I think harness the power of, and that's innovative. Speaking to your cartoon characters through AI.
I know. I mean, I'm a little bit curious to check it out, but again, that's kind of everywhere now. Like, in
Mhm.
your business, marketing production or production marketing, someone could say, "Hey, Chat GPT, make me a clip of this thing, and I want to focus on X, Y, and Z points." How is your business addressing this differentiation and human component to helping people deliver what is most meaningful where maybe AI is falling short?
Mhm. It's definitely within the subtext of things, for sure, because you can tell Chat GPT to write a script of something, and you read the script and you're like, "Where's the flavor? Where's the nuance?" And that's what humans are so good at because that's our experience is in the gray matter and the nuance. It's very layered. Um, that's why people like certain actors or directors because of their lived experience that they're like imbuing into the project. Um, so from my perspective, it's like it's keep doing the work and keep putting yourself into the art because that's what's needed, to connect with people.
Yeah. Isn't that funny that art is the thing, and creating the melodies of the nuances of our life experiences so that other people can have that unique perspective or have an informed experience. That's where the value is. More so now than ever before, we see that art and creativity are the things that move the needle. So, isn't it unfortunate that in most of our lives, I don't know about you, but going through budget cuts and school changes, that
Oh,
art and creativity, things that promoted those very talents, were the first things to get cut. We're living in a generation of people who were taught to be mechanical, and that's not the value that we're going to need to produce to create the next world that's emerging. So
mhm,
there's a
mhm.
ton of people right now who are ill equipped to handle the evolving world. And
Yeah.
isn't it interesting that the creative talent and the artistic talent is the thing that we're going to need most? So
Mhm.
I
That
I
is what's
love,
behind innovation,
yep. Yeah,
creative problem solving.
yep, and innovate, like we've used the word innovation probably 10 times, right? So in this conversation, it's being able to kind of harvest the power of creativity in a way that's you. And we've been taught in the industrial age up until very recently, and it continues to kind of die slowly, that we sit down, shut up, and do the task, and that's our value.
Mhm.
Self-love media is here, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that that's not the way that we do business, art, production, or marketing going forward, because it's
Yeah.
not the value that's created right now. It's not the way
Mhm.
the world is moving. So, Taylor, I so appreciate you coming here and sharing of yourself, being the creative that's been in front of the camera, having a partner behind the scenes who's been in that very systematic and probably dying structure. I'm so glad that you're here to create innovation and move the needle for the industry at large. Where can people go to find more on you, on your podcast, on your business that you're
Yes,
building, especially if they're creative spirits looking
of
to tell their
course.
authentic story?
Yes, yeah, especially the last thing that you just said. I was going to say, like, our podcast addresses that very thing, creativity in your life, the life we create. So you can find the life we create on our YouTube channel. It's at Self Love Media. Our handles, all of them, are at Self Love Media. We have selflove.com, SLFLVE.com. And yes, that context is very modern and very millennial in terms of the spelling,
Yes,
keeping people on their
SLF.
toes.
Yeah,
Yes,
don't try to actually spell it. Make sure you
right.
have SLF for self and LVE for love.
For love.
I appreciate your perspective and especially the creativity that you're bringing to your life as a mother, as an entrepreneur, and as a woman in business, moving the needle and charging forward, being super productive for yourself, for your family, and for your clients to be able to do that for themselves too. Totally
Mm,
aligned and a
thank you.
representative of self-love. So thanks a
Thank
million for
you.
being here with me today. And for those of you watching, thank you for subscribing. We are almost at 100 subscribers at this point. So the 100th subscriber is going to get a special shout out on our podcast when we do launch for that. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this episode with someone who you know will get value from it. And make sure that you are here every Monday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for a new and fresh episode that launches and premieres live just for you subscribers. So till next time, friends, we'll see you same bat time, same bat
Same
channel.
that channel.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thanks a million.
Yeah. See you, everybody.